Okay, John, so if we reflect first on last season, I suppose if we just look at it overall from when you came in, when was it, end of January, start of February, so I suppose what's your assessment of how those few months went?
Mixed really, because if I'm being honest, I thought we put in some decent performances. I thought that obviously the Barnet performance here was good. I thought Wrexham away I thought was very good. I thought Eastleigh away was good, and then we had games where, to be fair, I thought we were very poor. The biggest problem that I feel we had from when we come in right up to the end of the season was, and this isn't a criticism of players, but it was the mix of players that was here. It just, it was, you almost felt like sometimes you'd play with three people in midfield that was actually the same player. They all done the same job. There was no mix of players, and that was always difficult. And when you have that, if they all have what I call their day, their time, it looks okay. But the game's not like that. There's times when the game you haven't got the ball and you need someone that's going to get the ball for you. And we never quite had the right mix of players. And I think that the first game that I actually saw before I actually came here was a game here against Maidenhead, and it was evident that there wasn't a mix of players. And I think that as we got into it a little bit, and we brought mostly loans in, because obviously financially we couldn't do much, but we felt that bringing Jake Cassidy in would help. But he never played as often as we would have liked. For him to be fit enough and to forge a relationship with another player, that wasn't quite sort of working. And I felt that we suffered a little bit defensively, injury-wise. Swain was not always fit. We felt that he and Will de Havilland was the best pairing that we had, but we never played them together often enough. We did at one time want to try and play McClellan at left back and push Wish up wide left, but McClellan was never fit. I think he played once, for us, I can't remember. So we couldn't quite get those combinations right to make the squad or the team more compact. So I'd look back with it and I'd say that as disappointing as it was, it became pretty evident really in a short period of time that unless there was what we felt were wholesale changes, we were never going to have a consistency level about our team play.
So on that subject, obviously interesting time of year now with all the players being out of contract. Could you give us an idea of where we are in terms of the players who play for us at the end of the season?
Wishart has got another year left on his contract, so at the moment he's still with us. I can't think of the other lad's name who went out to Dartford, still
Coker.
has a year. Andre Coker. Still has a year here. So those two players. Every other player that was here, other than the ones we signed late, which was Justin Amaluza, who's still under contract, and Embry, Jake Embry, they're here. We have a clean sheet other than that. We've spoken to all of the players. There were a couple that we've spoken to that will put that amongst what they're looking at and how they feel, but only a couple. And to be honest, we have released the rest of the players. out of the main group, there's probably 2 or 3 others that possibly we'll talk to going forward, but we haven't made a big deal about it. I feel that it needs a clean sweep, I do, for everybody. It's going to be an interesting close season. You know, we're speaking to lots of people, and it's like everything else. It's about getting, and we're all the same, all us managers. We all think we know more than someone else. We do. It's a fact, but we all have our own type of players. We all have our own ideas about how we want to play. My ideas on how we want to play and will play, they've never changed, and we're just trying to fit a jigsaw together now. And in that jigsaw, one of the players that perhaps we didn't feel we got enough out of last year, but he might fit into the jigsaw this year because it's that type of person we're looking at. So although lots of players have gone, that doesn't mean to say there won't be talks going on. They may be talking to other clubs, they probably are, and we may end up looking at something and go, you know what, maybe that player will fit in now, and we'll go back and say, you know, is it something else you're going to consider? So it's a little bit suck it and see in some respects about how you go, but we've identified and are talking to players as we speak, and that'll be ongoing.
How exhaustive has the process been in terms of identifying these new players?
Yeah, I mean, along with Hakan, when we came, I brought a scouting system that's worked with me, so they've been out and about, and at the end of the season, I probably saw every other game because I was out, you know, making decisions on players that the scouts had brought up. So I think we've narrowed it down to a pretty comprehensive list of players that we would talk to. And it's like everything else. If you want a left back, you've got to have 2 or 3 left backs because you might not get the one that perhaps is there. So you have to have sort of 2 or 3 for each position, and you try and grade them 1, 2 or 3, and you know, sometimes you can't even grade them. It's a toss of a coin, you know, that you get different things from different people. So, you know, but most certainly all of the ones that we talked to would have been highlighted by a scout system, or highlighted by myself, or even Hack as you know, games that he would have watched midweek when we haven't been playing.
You spoke earlier about players having injury issues. Is there sort of anything you can put in place so that we can avoid those problems next year?
You know, the one thing you can't avoid normally is impact injuries. If someone's hurt in a tackle, they're hurt in a tackle, you can't. I think training methods, I think over the years, I mean, if you look back to when I first started, people used to get out on there and just run is what people did. Now, you know, you look at that side of it, but you know, sometimes you do a bit more tactical, a bit more technical. It depends really. I think overuse, I think a lot of people mention about like our surface, like does that have an influence on people's fitness? I'm not sure that it does, if I'm being honest. I don't know that for definite. I'm not sure that it does have an influence on injuries, but I think that maybe the amount of time that you spend training on it, I think that's something that we've looked at, and how you can break it down, and instead of going constantly, maybe there should be, you know, more breaks in it, and sort of not keep doing things repetitive. But you know, I'm not 100% sure on it. Sometimes I've had clubs when probably at the end of the season probably used about 15 or 16 players, but I've had it when it's been 20 odd players because you have had injuries, but mostly impact injuries, soft tissue injuries you need to try and avoid, and I think we all need to, everyone looks at ways of not doing it, and I think this is a repetitiveness that you have to cut down on, so we are aware of it.